Hello, this is Ola, your host on The Unpolished Mum, your weekly podcast on all things parenthood, languages and real life struggles. I'm really honoured you've decided to listen to me today, so let's begin. Hi guys, welcome again to The Unpolished Mum podcast. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. It's going to be a very special episode. I feel it with all my heart and my whole body, so I hope you enjoy it too. Let me know, message me, email me or whatever. I love hearing from you guys. So let's just get straight to it. So today I wanted to talk to you about self-love and different perspectives that I've got on self-love, what it means, what it doesn't mean, and so on. So I was born in 1989, so grew up in the 90s and early noughties. And I remember the first time anyone ever commented on my body, on my weight, was after the summer of the 5th grade. So I must have been 11 or 12, and I remember my friends, my classmates, they said, "Oh my God, Ola, you've lost some weight. You look awesome." Honestly, that was it. And I remember I felt amazing because I felt like I belonged in the little, group. But can you imagine? 11. So that's how it begins. This is where we first start thinking about, are we good enough if we're not the way the society or the majority of people are or want us to be? The 90s were a very awkward time. The models, Kate Moss, the role models that, showed us what allegedly like a perfect body should look like were just ridiculous. The bodies were just skinny and not really healthy at all. So obviously I know that self-love and the talk about body is not only about the weight, but I sort of have to connect it with my own experience. So just trying to make you realize how awkward it was and how difficult it can be, especially when people think that that's the norm, that the skinny bodies are the norm. So I've always sort of felt rebellious against it, but when you grow up, when you're a teenager or even still in puberty, you just get influenced so easily by people's opinions and you just desperately want to belong. I mean, I still desperately want to belong, but that's another story. So my personal need to kind of not stand out too much, or the feeling of being judged based on my sort of weight, silhouette, started more or less then. And then it all continued, as I mentioned on my Instagram, then in around the time of high school. I heard that comment from a friend of mine, a really good and close friend of mine, who said that I was really attractive, but I could just lose some weight to be just really hot. And I remember that I honestly actually thought for many years that was a compliment, which is again very funny. And then there were periods of me trying to go on a diet, losing some weight. I've never really liked sports. That's for many weird reasons, and some of them are not connected to the whole self-love story. But the combination of the fact that I never had the so-called perfect body and the fact that I was never very physically active led to a low self-esteem and feeling that I don't really belong because I look a little bit different. Then I also realized that there was a time in my life, and that was caused by other things, some trauma from childhood and some traumatic experiences from my home while growing up, that also made me doubt whether I'm a good person. So not only my body, but also the inside of me felt a bit weird. So when you have that combination of thinking, well, I'm definitely not good enough because there is something wrong both with my body and with my who I am as a person, then it's very, very easy to get depressed, to do some reckless things, to make very hasty decisions and stuff like that. Fortunately, I was quite lucky and didn't do many stupid things, but still the feeling at the back of my head was always there. And the moment I started realizing that this is just wrong and I'm wasting my life on thinking that I'm not worthy of people's attention, that I should be hiding, I should be, not really out in the open because of who I am, of what I look like, then it was a massive revelation. I remember in my even late 20s, so that wasn't a long time ago, seeing an obese person wearing shorts on the beach and saying, oh, that's just disgusting. Honestly, I said that myself. And it's not even that surprising, because if I felt that people judged me that way, then I felt that I was entitled to judge other people. Because when I looked at people who were, say, fatter than me, it made me feel good, which is, again, absolutely ridiculous. And then what I wanted to say is that obviously I can't say that I fully love myself now. I can't say that I'm fully okay with who I am or what I am, because that's too complicated, that's too complex, too many things. There is just too many things that are like sort of the ingredients of my self-esteem, right? So when it comes to who I am as a person, I come across as a very confident person who doesn't really care what people think. But very often I do it despite of feeling, oh my God, everybody is going to judge me. As if it was this kind of, I always say it's my coping mechanism, but as you can see, and you can maybe imagine, that it's quite a sadomasochistic coping mechanism, because sometimes it really actually nearly physically hurts. When I post something and I say something very honestly, or when I post a picture that's not a perfect picture of what the society thinks a perfect body should look like, then I think, wow, what if people say something nasty? I'm just gonna die inside. Honestly, these are the thoughts, and they do happen. So again, it's not like I've completed the journey of self-discovery and being completely okay with who I am, because that's just not true. But what I want to do here is I want to raise your awareness of how often we fall into that trap of thinking that if we change something about ourselves, the people are going to love us more, accept us more, we're going to be happier. And I know we don't do it consciously. Nobody wakes up and says, oh, I need to lose weight because otherwise my husband will, break up with me. I mean, I hope so. I hope nobody does that. But we do it subconsciously. And if we think about it, unfortunately, very often we try and change for other people. And again, I'm not saying that change is bad. And for example, losing weight is bad because, as my cousin mentioned, I sometimes sound as if I just wanted not to lose weight just to show people. No, I don't want to, because I'm just sick and tired of the diet culture and fat shaming and whatnot. No, that's not about that. It's just I honestly and deeply believe that if you want to change, you have to do it for yourself. So now I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I think self-love is. So self-love is looking after yourself, and it can have a lot of you can do it in a lot of ways, right? Because when you think about it in terms of in a very shallow way, then I could just say, oh, okay, I'm a bit overweight, but I accept my body, so I'm just gonna, use it as an excuse to be lazy and do nothing, okay? Even if you believe in what I said before, you could still think that's just an excuse, right? Because, from a medical, scientific point of view, generally being overweight or even obese is not healthy, right? And that's just facts. And I know that, okay? Our bodies were designed to be to carry some optimal weight, right? If it's a bit too much, then it can lead to some medical complications and other things. And we all know that, again. And I actually started thinking about it all when I first came across a blogger online. She's called Harriet. She runs a funny Instagram account called Toby and Rue. She talks about parenthood, but one of the biggest things on her profile is self-love and body positivity. So she's a size 18, so like size in Polish size is 44, 46, I would say. So she's a little bit of a bigger lady, and she absolutely adores herself. And she says that now, and she very often posts pictures of her before and now, and she really, before her kids, she used to be like a size 10. That's true. And she says at the same time that now she's healthier than she's ever been. And that just, I couldn't really understand what she meant by that, because how is that even possible, right? And then I realized when I started reading and really thinking about it, what she meant was her mental health. When she was constantly dieting, she was constantly depressed. She realized that. She quit dieting. It doesn't mean that now she overeats and does, and just eats everything and is just fat and lazy. Because again, it's funny how even I have to explain every now and again, because I feel like it could sound like making excuses. But she is so much happier. And people don't ever realize or think, or only a few people realize that mental health is as important as physical health. I'm so glad that the world is starting to talk about mental health more and more, because it's health, okay? We shouldn't be talking about physical health and mental health separately. It's the same thing. And that's where I'm going with this whole chat. Self-love is being healthy mentally. It's healing yourself in many different ways, as I said, so that you feel good about yourself. So you actually accept that you're not going to please everybody. And that means not looking in a certain way or not being a certain person. Because I know people who feel constantly guilty that, for example, that they are introverts. They feel weird that,